Happy Friday, everyone. Why does it always seem like the weeks back from break are the longest? I wanted to talk this week about some of the safety procedures and updates that were made to the district's reopening/mitigation plan based on the increased in-person students in our classrooms. Right now, the CDC has guidance hanging out that New York State is expected to adopt but has not adopted yet. And so what I'm going to do is kind of talk a little bit about the difference between those two guidances and then what we believe that you should be doing in order to keep yourself safe or things that you can do. Obviously, it's up to you and your comfort level. The first is that New York State is expected to accept this guidance. In fact, Governor Cuomo said on Wednesday that he was anticipating having updated school guidance by the end of the week. So far, the only thing that's come out is New York City guidance. So New York State DOH has not yet adopted the CDC guidance. The real difference in that, I'm sure you read, is the difference between 6 feet to 3 feet and the needing of the barriers, right? And CDC is saying that you can put people, particularly students, within 3 feet of each other without a barrier. However, one of the things that the CDC guidance does state, and that we as the MTA are recommending, is that adults still stay 6 feet away from everyone. One of the things that the MTA was actually able to successfully fight for is the teacher barriers. So every teacher should receive a barrier for their desk. And one of the things that we've been very clear with the district is that we are recommending to teachers that they stay behind those barriers and 6 feet away from anyone, meaning other adults and children in their classrooms. I understand how difficult this is. I mean, this is not the way we're used to teaching from a desk or not being able to get close to a student and help. But at the same point, whatever you do with that teacher desk barrier is up to you, right? Remember, this is not something that you're forced to use. It's not something that you must, as well as even the shields in the secondary, right? What the basic guidance says is that if you're closer currently in New York State than 3 feet and soon to be, currently 6 feet and soon to be 3 feet, is that there must be a barrier. So in essence, if the student is wearing his or her barrier, that's a barrier. You don't have to wear your barrier if you don't want to wear your barrier. Okay? In the elementary school, because we have desk barriers, you may be within 6 feet or 3 feet of that student without a shield or holding a barrier because the student has a barrier around them. You just must ensure that that barrier is actually between you and the student. But there's a lot of confusion again about that because it seems as though we're making, or implying the district is that teachers are wearing barriers if they're inside that 6 feet mark. And in reality, as long as one person has the barrier, that's a barrier. Think about it this way, right? If I have a desk barrier and someone comes up to talk to me at my desk, and they're within 6 feet or soon to be 3 feet, right? There is a barrier between us. There is no difference between that desk barrier than that same student wearing a shield. So if you're a member and you don't want to wear the shield, all you have to do is ensure that the student has a barrier, whether that's a shield or desk barrier, between you and the student or another adult when you get within 6 feet currently, and again, soon to be 3 feet when New York State accepts the CDC guidance. But I thought it was important to clear up that, again, from the MTA standpoint and the CDC current recommendations, it's that adults stay at least 6 feet away from each other. So we should be continuing to try and keep that distance. And certainly, again, that's based on your comfort level of safety. There's also a lot of other information in this week's bulletin, particularly regarding some Help the Helpers for our school support personnel, as well as information on the state budget. So please take a look at that and have a wonderful weekend.